Hello everyone on YouTube, hello, welcome back with another vid, with another one. But yeah, before we start, let me just jump right in. Before we start, I have to say, this is not me defending the guessing in Tekken 8. That's what I'm doing right now. Just have to, put it out there. But yeah, let's talk about the guessing situations. In general, how guessing works, and I'm gonna be a little bit more specific about this, right? Obviously, I can just say, oh, just guess this or this. But obviously, that's not what I'm gonna do. Okay, so how does guessing actually work? And obviously the title of the video as well is if guessing is actually a skill in Tekken. So I'm not that much of an expert outside of Tekken. I'm pretty sure guessing and predictions, there's a lot to talk about in general, but I'm gonna be talking about from my experience in the game usually, right? So yeah, three things. There are three things to remember about the guessing in general. And yeah, first, this is very important. First, a player has to know when to guess, right? So everything I'm gonna say is gonna help in general to guess, in general, guess correctly, right? And this will help. And this is one of the answers that I have about the question, is that if it's actually a skill or not, because you can actually get better at it. You can. But it's a way more complicated answer than that as well. Okay, so let's just talk about the first thing I just said. You have to know when to guess. So the guessing situation, if you don't know when to guess, you won't duck in the correct situation, right? Obviously, and you'll get hit by the low. If you guys can also imagine this situation. A player that never ducks, let's say they never duck, usually will still duck when their life is low enough because the low is gonna kill them, right? So that the life is low enough is a situation for them to understand that, oh, they're gonna get mixed by a low or a mid. In that situation, they'll understand that they'll duck even though they'll never duck otherwise, right? That's a situation for them specifically, for them to understand, okay, I'm gonna duck because I'm gonna get mixed. But those situations exist outside of the health bar being low, and in general, those situations will exist. Like, example, right? An example is someone like Claudio at the wall doing a sidestep, which means you're gonna get mixed up by a sidestep 4, right? And if you understand that, you might decide to just duck there or not duck there, right? But that doesn't mean you're gonna guess correctly, but it's gonna mean that you understand when to actually guess, which is a great thing, obviously, right? And this comes from character knowledge and a lot of other stuff. This comes from a lot of other stuff, but you just have to understand when to start guessing. Just like when you understand that after, I don't know, Kazuya's 1-1-2, if you stand up here, you might have to guess as well, right? You might just have to guess. So, yeah, this is how it works. First thing, this is very important. You just have to know when to start guessing, and it really depends on the situations, right? This is a part of situational awareness. It's a part of it. Second thing, right? Second thing is that this is also a part of situational awareness, but you can also combine this with a lot of character knowledge, a lot of experience, not our character, but also player experience. And this second one is more of a prediction than anything else. And when you actually have a lot of awareness, you'll know when someone wants to do a certain mix-up. Let's say someone wants to do a mid or someone wants to do a low. And this comes, as I said, from a lot of other things. Let me just explain it. So, example is when a Kazuya player is wave dashing to you, in general he's wave dashing a lot. Maybe not as much in the neutral, right, but he just likes to wave dash, stuff like that. Maybe you'll not understand that he wants to do a hell sweep, right? This is a kind of a tell that he wants to go for the hell sweep, right? And other characters have something similar. For, let's say, Ana, right? If an Ana player does something like this, in the neutral, just backdashing like this, normally playing, but she's just doing this in your face sometimes, right? Maybe you'll understand, oh, she wants to do a full crouch mix-up on me, but no, she actually wants to do a low on me, right? And you'll understand that, oh, a low most likely is coming, but at least what you'll understand is at least a mix-up is coming, right? So this is one of the parts of the first thing I said, that you have to understand when a mix-up is coming and when to actually start guessing. And this is one of the things, right? This is a more complicated example of that when an Ana player just starts ducking in your face, you'll know that mix-up is coming. Sometimes you'll understand that they're gonna do a low and not a mid, but obviously it's still just a guess, but a prediction will still happen. But the second thing I said that you can actually predict if they're gonna do a low or a mid sometimes, right? And you can predict it correctly. And this is very, very situationally different. For example, if there's a wall or not a wall, most of the time players will prioritize a wall splat at the wall and the non-wall splat not at the wall. Let's say, right? For example, if we are at the wall, whenever I want to do a mix-up, I usually will choose an option with a wall splat, then an option without a wall splat, right? The Kazuya's example is a little bit weird because Kazuya's, hell sweep also wall splat, so you have to guess in that situation as well. But in a lot of other situations, you can just guess that usually there won't be a low incoming if the low doesn't wall splat, right? Something like that. So you're gonna be more aware of mids and wall splats than anything else. It's just a decision that you make consciously or unconsciously. You can make both, right? You can do both. So that's important. That's very, very important. But the other part also that's very, very important are wall hazards, right? Now wall hazards, let me just demonstrate real quick. Whenever there are like any kind of wall hazards, like in this example I'm gonna show right now, wall explosions, I think that's what they're called, whatever they're called, right? In this situation, now you might understand that whenever this happens, let's say you're the Ana player, right? And you're behind the explodable wall, and let's say the Kazuya player is in heat, right? This is also a part of situational awareness, and you'll understand that, okay, this Kazuya player, he wants to break the wall, right? He wants to do it. And he's in heat right now. And this is, as I said, you have to be aware of this. So what does this mean? This means that there's a pretty damn high chance he is gonna do this, right? That's a pretty damn high chance he's gonna do a heat smash to break that wall and actually, get the explosion. Pretty damn good chance. So this is a part of guessing correctly or predicting correctly. You can do exact the same thing even when Kazuya is 9 heat and predict a hell sweep here for this explosion. Right? Obviously there are mids that you're gonna get mixed up with, but there's a better chance and a decent chance that he's gonna actually use the low, which is the hell sweep, instead of a mid, right? Not to mention his mids are usually slower, so you can also use that to your advantage. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and a lot of characters can do very, very similar things, and if you understand how it works, you'll know how to predict that. For example, on floor break stages, right? Let's say there's a floor break stage. There's not a wall break or wall explosion stage, but it's a floor break stage like the Jin stage, this one, the subconscious stage, right? If you know that you are in this stage and you're playing against, okay, let's just put Kazuya as an example again because I play the character. I can make many other characters as examples as well. Like let's say you play against Kaz, right? And he's in heat. Let's say same situation. And the floor is purple, so it's already been, destroyed once. That's just how the stage works. This means that whenever the Kazuya player is in heat and he will hell sweep here, this will break the floor, right? This will break the floor. And if you know this, so if the Ana player knows this, you can predict this hell sweep way easier. Way, way easier, and actually guess correctly more often than not. Because this is what you would call a predictable hell sweep, right? Because it's very predictable, because it's usually easy to understand that the hell sweep is gonna floor break, and the Kazuya player wants the floor break, so he wants the hell sweep. So in a guessing situation, when you combine the first and the second one, the first 2 points I said, like after 1-1-2, you're kind of guessing if you stand up here, right? Now you can guess, okay, he's most likely gonna do a hell sweep because he wants the floor break. So I'm gonna duck it, and I'm confident in this. Now this is how it works. This is what you would call situational awareness, character awareness, experience. There's a lot of stuff here, right? A lot of stuff. And this is a thing for not only, obviously, not only for Kaz, but for almost every character. It's for every character, more or less. Because everyone, like let's say Raven does a full crouch mix-up on you, he also has a floor break, you can guess that. But high-level players will use that in their advantage, and that's when the third thing comes in, right? The third thing, this is one of the most important things, is timing. So predicting someone's timing, this is the hardest part about the game, right? It's very, very hard because you do not know when they're gonna mix you up. You might understand that they want to mix you up, but not when they're gonna mix you up. Why is this important? This is very important because you don't want to be ducking 24/7, right? You don't want to stand like this because you are very, very vulnerable while you're ducking. You're gonna get hit by everything, basically everything, right? Every mid you're gonna get hit by. So the reason, that's like the biggest reason basically why you don't want to stay ducking and why you want to understand timing, just so you duck a little bit and then stand up, let's say, right? So you can, move away from the situation or get away in general or sidestep away or whatever, right? Whatever. You don't want to be ducking. But what happens a lot is after 1-1-2, let's say Azium, he might do an instant hell sweep like this, but what he can also do is wave dash a little bit and then do a hell sweep. And these two things are very, very different. Very different. And if you understand how timing works, you'll know that this is very important in general. By the way, timing is a very, very kind of a difficult concept. That's gonna be the next vid coming up on YouTube. So yeah, look forward to that because I'm going to be explaining how it works and what it actually means a little bit more in detail. But timing is very important because it basically forces you to, in a way, guess a little bit more inaccurately. Because it's way easier to guess perfect timing. Let's say I'm going to do a jab into instant hell sweep. I'm going to do a jab into 4-4-2. It's easier to guess something like this because you just, duck or not duck instantly and then go on with your life. But if I do a jab and then start moving a little bit and then doing a hell sweep, a jab, start moving a little bit and then doing a 4-4-2, you won't know when to guess anymore. You don't understand now. Okay, am I supposed to guess now? Maybe 2 seconds after, maybe 1 second after, maybe half a second after? Do I move? Do I try to move? Right? Do I try to sidestep? And now it's becoming way more complicated. Way more complicated. And now let me go for the next topic, right? So these three things are in general very important when it comes to guessing, and that will make it a little bit easier for you to guess situations, these three things. But now the third thing, which is the thing I dislike about the Tekken 8 specifically, because these three things were a thing even in Tekken 7 when I started playing the game. Because this was the thing, it's just how guessing worked even back then, but now what I dislike about the game is how the game forces you to deal with these guessing situations. Now, usually guessing situations like this can be dealt with many ways, right? Depends on the situation. But the game forces you a lot to press in these situations and deal with them with buttons instead of anything else. So some of the situations you can deal with many ways. Let's say you can even deal with them with movement. You can deal with and many situations can be dealt with movement, right? Let's say, but the game forces you to deal with them with buttons way too much. The best thing you can do to stop guessing situations, especially when people delay timings because you don't want to guess like that, right? Obviously, is you press buttons. And the buttons you press usually is gonna be what we call panic buttons, right? And panic buttons are very good in this game because of that reason. That's why you would see something like down jabs a lot. That's why we would see something like G claps, like driving up down 1-2-1, large 1-1-1, whatever, right? Those kind of buttons. Orbitals, hop kicks, backswing blows, automatic sidestep moves, all of that. You will see that because people do not want to guess, so instead they choose to press a button to stop the guessing situation from happening, right? And that's why you see a lot of players pressing there, not only in ranked online or in general, but also in tournaments. Instead of guessing, they will, let's say, choose to do a jab, choose to do a down jab. Like even a jab can work just to stop pressure, right? But usually the best option, by the way, is a down jab. This is one of the best options to stop guessing situations. One of the best options. And I really dislike this about this game. It's just my personal thing, right? I just really dislike it. But yeah, this is about it. This was another not too long of a vid. I think it was like 15 minutes, right? Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully. It's not anything too complicated. As I said, this is just my experience. But this is just how I see guessing in general in Tekken. It's just how I see it. And I'm pretty sure there's way more to talk about this as well, but this is a little bit more on the short side. A little bit more. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Big thank you. And till the next one.